let us go for this. npm start, where should I type? In the terminal, right? You can use command prompt or you can use terminal, which is available in your Visual Studio Code, right? So we need to start, you need to enter into your project folder first of all, and you need to type npm start. So it is almost done. So I am waiting for this development server to start. It is processing, compiling. Right, it is showing this, right? So this is what our last topic it is, right? Now just let me remind you that, so last class what we discussed it, even notes also I written here it is. First of all, I told you that remove all files from your src folder. Is it right? So we removed all the files. Okay. So we removed all the files from the src folder. Next, so we created a one index file in the src folder. Yes, we created a one index file series. src folder index.js. This is my index.js, and we have to import React. Okay, we imported it here, and we have to write all these things. What we have to write it? We have to write it this one, React DOM.render, and it is clearly explanation also is given. React DOM, from this way we have to write it. What is render? To transmit to the another. That means to show some content. So React renders HTML to the web pages by using function or method called render. The purpose of the function is to display the specified HTML code inside the specified HTML. So that is, even I have written a caption here, what to display and where to display. See, this is what to display and this is what ID. So here ID you can see, when I paste it here, once again I am writing it. For example, I am writing H2 here. So I want to write it. Let me write it, my name here it is. Okay. This is what I am writing. This is what I want to display, and where you want to display. So that is what is important, comma, and you can write it document dot get element by ID. Element by ID, it's a part of this JavaScript actually. So get element by ID it is, and which ID it is? There is a root ID. Where is this root ID? This root ID is available in the index.html files. Can you see this? Index.html file. There is a ID. Is it right? There is a connection it is. Is it clear? So now save this, and it is compiling. This should say display my name is Sudhakar in the web page in H2 format. So it is compiling, if you can see this, due to that npm start. So your npm should be running. It is taking too long time. Doesn't matter. You have to wait. Right, that is done. Now I need to see the output here by going to the browser. See, this is done. So till here we discussed it. Now we need to extend this, right? So fine, this is I'm able to display. Okay, but I want to add some other content here. That's what is important here. I want to add some other content here. Is it possible? How many of you tried it? That is, we written this content, right? Okay, so we written this content. Then what is my extent? Question is, did you try one more tag here? For example, I want to add one more also here. A H3, I want to write it here, and ReactJS is a library of JavaScript. This is what I'm writing it. But you can see there are so many red marks here. This red mark indicates there is a problem here. Let us see, save this file and compiling it is, and it is going to throw one error. See, so many syntax errors here. And read this here. It is in compiled with problems. Why? It was working, right? It was working with one tag. But when I added this H3, so now it is working perfectly, right? There are no error messages. It is working, right? Wait 1 second. Yes, ReactJS. But when I add something here extra, it is not about H3. Any tag you add it, and comma is there here. Can you see comma? you have to give only one, what to display, comma, what to display, comma, and where to display. Is it right? So what to display, this is what I want to display, right? So it is not the problem of comma here, and understand this syntax error here, what exactly it is saying. Module build failed. So that entire application is called a module. Here it is. Syntax error it is saying that this my folder it is. Adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped in a enclosing tag it is. Enclosing tag. So what it is saying is, we are using two tags, H2 and H3 tag. That means it is more than one tag. When you really using more than one tag, it is not going to render it like this. You have to enclose it in a one more tag. If you are using, okay, so more than one tag, right, or one element, then you have to enclose in some other tag like this. So Control X, and you can see this, you can place it, right? Division is open and division is closed. Now you can see it is working, right? So what do you understand with this? So today's topic it is about rendering your content with your multiple elements. So one is enclosing all tags, all elements in one element. That is, for example it is, if you have h1 tag, or once again if you have one more h1 tag also, or h2 tag also, doesn't matter, right? These are the two tags, right? Okay, this should be placed inside a one more element, especially we will use division tag, right? So that is the meaning of this. Is it right? So placing your multiple tags inside a one more tag, that's what it is saying that. Okay, so once I placed it inside this div tag, there is no problem at all. You can take it as many tags as you want it. For example, I want to take it again, say paragraph here. I'll say paragraph, right? So now you can see division is closed, right? This is done. It's working perfectly. So if you get some error, like if I remove this, then you are going to get this. This means if you get this type of error message, then think about the, tag should be there, wrapped it is. It should be wrapped. Is it clear? So avoid, whenever you write it, try to use this way. So let me put this one under comments. Now, if you are using multiple elements, then you have to use the some other element, like especially division. Now we are going for one more method. As I said, different methods are there. I have shown this method, and there is one more method. So that is the second one. It is so enclosing all elements or multiple elements in square bracket. Okay, but you need to use comma. You need to use comma spelling, comma, okay, comma, after every element, every JSX element. What is JSX element? H1, H2, these are the JSX elements. So here, if for example, you need to use it like this, the same thing, by using H1 example, right? So I'm going to use it. So square bracket. So I want to use it. Square bracket here, right? Like this. But here you have to use the comma. Is it right? After element. Are you using any comma here? Are you using any comma here? No. This is one more method. Is it right? Shall we try that one? Yes. So is, let me write it React, and this is a common comma that is for every element, and I'm going to write it again one more here, H3. Okay. So what should I write? So single page application. Right? But see, it is not working. It is going to give the error message. Save this, same error message you are going to get it. It says that adjacent JSX element be wrapped in a enclosing tag. So instead of division tag, we can use square bracket. Yes, square bracket I'm using it. I'm closing this and I'm closing it here. After that, this comma is closing. Okay. But still it is showing the error message. Then we'll see what error message it is showing it. Is it rendered? So 2 errors it is showing that. It is saying that again adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. Okay. Now what is required? What is missing in this? Comma. You need to use the comma. Whenever you use this, you can use square brackets also instead of division, because division is going to occupy some space. Simply, are you using any division? The divisions you use it for putting some content. So you took the division earlier, but there will be no use of that extra division, right? So we require H2 and we require H3, whatever element. But just for to avoid that error messages, to render your output, to get the output, we were using division. So each and every element, each and every tag will have some space. It will occupy some space, right? To loading time and everything. So unnecessarily we were using that division tag. So that's why this is one more method. Okay, I'm avoiding the tag, then I'm using only square bracket and comma is required. So now it is working perfectly. This is one more method. So just quickly note down, and in the meantime, I'm going to copy. And one more thing is, those who are really practicing it, I'll give you some tip here, because you might be practicing. See what I'm doing, the same file, I'm modifying it, right? I'm not creating multiple files. Right? I'm just modifying index.js only. But in future, if you want to see that previous files, whenever you are, practicing, and so it's better what you do is, you create a folder like this. So maybe like I created files for students here, right? Separate one. Actually, my project folder is this one. Separate. My project folder is separate React. It is, and we have src folder, and this is my index file, right? I can copy this. It is better. What you do is, you create a separate folder like this. You give whatever name you want it, and you give your date like this, and you can paste it here. How I'm doing it for everything. I'm just creating a folder and I'm pasting. That is easy to understand. In future, like you'll understand. And if you have any doubts, you can open this file in any browser or in any text editor, and you can see that. Got my point? So it's better you create a separate folder for that. Right? Yeah. Right. Done. So we'll go for the next one. I copied this file already. Now one more method, the best method is which we are going to use it regularly. So one thing is, you can use something called, but this is not the best method, but I'll show you the one is enclosing elements in like this. So React dot fragment, right? Now this is one more React dot fragment like this. Is it clear? React dot fragment it is, or we can use it as simply like this. This is the simplest method. Is it clear? So this is called a React fragment it is. And this is a important method which we are going to use it regularly. So let me use it. Enclosing all elements in React dot fragment. R is capital, F is capital. or we can use it like this simply. So I'll do that. Instead of this, use React.fragment, right? And I can use React.fragment it is. Okay, now it is going to work. So what we are discussing, placing multiple elements. So it is working, but I think there is comma. Comma is not required. Comma is not required. Comma is not required after every element. But here after this, before this document get element by ID, you require a comma. Okay, that is we discussed in the last class itself. What you want to display, where you want to display, right? Or wait. Let me continue the flow. Then you can ask me when I stop it. Okay. So here this is one method, and we have one more thing called instead of this. Okay, the best method is you can remove this everything because we will be not using this. Just remove it. So this is the best method, and here onwards we are following this. And here we are not calling any tag like division tag. We are not using a square bracket. Okay, just simply we are using. This is called a fragment. Remember that this is called a fragment method. Now you can see this is save this. It is working, right? Okay, now this is called a fragment. Remember that this is called a fragment method. Okay, so I'll just write it here, fragment method. Okay, so this is called a fragment method, which is very, very important. Okay, this is called fragments. Remember this name, right? So similarly, can we use CSS tags in the fragment? Yes, we can use it, but again, there is a different method. Okay, because it's not HTML, it is JSX. Okay, I'm coming to that JSX now. Let me explain you. Now we know that, first of all, let me finish this. We know that our HTML or JSX elements, basically JSX elements, let me write it here. It is not HTML elements. JSX elements can be enclosed in this way. One is you can use any one tag like this and enclosing in a square bracket, or we can use in a fragment it is. Is it right? So we can use this. Now next one, I need to explain you this about JSX. Okay, JSX in React. Yeah, is there? This is official website ReactJS.org. From there itself we will take it. So here whatever you are writing it is looks like HTML only, but it is not HTML. So normally if you take JavaScript or if you type HTML or if you take HTML, can you store something like this in HTML like constant element? Is it possible in HTML? It is not possible, right? This is HTML, I can accept it, this part. But can you store that HTML tags inside the variable? Okay, no, right? Even in JavaScript also will not do that. So this is a funny tag syntax, neither a string nor a HTML it is. It's not a string nor a HTML. It is called a JSX and it is a syntax extension for JavaScript. Okay, so we recommend using it with React to describe what UI should look like. JSX may remind you of template language, but it comes with the full power of JavaScript it is. Okay, so JSX produces React elements. Okay, and it is showing that next to expenses. So this is one of the best descriptions showing that. See if you can see this. So here React to describe the what UI user interface should look like. Okay, JSX may remind you of a template language, but it comes with the full power of JavaScript. It is a full power of the JavaScript. It is. So means when we talk about a JavaScript, we will be using variables, we will be using if-else conditions and everything it is. So how to use that, we'll see that later. Is it clear? So So it is a JSX basically. So let's see. Rendering logic in here coupled with other URL, how events handle the static and everything displayed is. So, but here this is not the correct method. Here, let me take it from here. So JSX allows JavaScript XML it is, allows you to write HTML in React, and JSX makes it easier to write HTML in React it is. That is one thing to easily understand it is JSX, right? So what is JSX? JSX stands for JavaScript XML, and JSX allows us to write HTML in React, and JSX makes it easier to write and add HTML in React it is, and we can make it dynamic content also. We have some more things here, and where it is, stands for Java allows to write HTML. It makes it easier to write, and no, that is the same thing. Syntax extends ECMAScript. Okay. In other words, JSX is in HTML like syntax. This is the best example. React that extends ECMAScript so that HTML like syntax coexist with the JavaScript code it is. This is some more description which I can give it. So in other words, we can say that JSX is an HTML like syntax. It is a HTML like syntax. So what I am saying is, we think it is a HTML, but it is like HTML like syntax it is, right? And used by React that extends ECMAScript. Okay. So ECMAScript is ES6 latest standard, so that HTML like syntax can coexist with JavaScript and React. Like if you want to write some JavaScript code and everything, then this will be useful. It is any more information is required. It enables developer to create virtual DOM using HTML. Okay, syntax. Okay. Okay. So JSX is basically a syntax extension to the regular JavaScript and used to create React elements. Okay. And these elements will be, yes, this is one more here. Is good. Here now you can see JSX stands for JavaScript XML. JSX allows to write HTML in React. See, directly will not write HTML, okay? But it is like a, whatever JSX we are taking it, it looks like HTML, but it's not HTML it is. Is it right? And I want to stop the server. How can I stop the server here? Control C. So Control C, terminate it is. Because if it is running again, it will be a problem in the next class also. That's why whenever you run it again, you have to stop the server. Don't forget it, right? So this type of mistakes also will trouble you a lot. We started a server with npm start. Then after finishing, you have to stop it by Control C. Is it clear? Right. So that's it for today.